It's
sorry, I hate to cut you off, Ryan, but we're back with more Dicing with Death.
That's fine. We've got much more exciting things to talk about than my maple bacon protein bar.
I mean, that sounds pretty good, except for the maple and the bacon.
Compared to what you typically eat, it's probably fine.
Excuse me? You have no idea what I eat. When was the last time you came and visited me somewhere I lived? When we lived together?
What's that?
Oh, that's true. You did visit me in the Bay Area. That's right.
Yeah, several times.
Several times. Okay, I withdraw my criticism. I semi-withdraw my criticism.
It's when you left the West Coast that I was like, nah, why? Is there really anywhere else? why would I? No, just...
Yeah. But now that I'm married, I eat well. My wife insists on us eating well, and I do a good job. You would be surprised.
Wow.
I know.
You know, grew up and started eating his vegetables.
Yep. A surprising amount.
Pineapple on all his pizza now.
I've actually, my new pizza favorite is chicken and spinach. That's where I am right now. Nice. I enjoy a good pineapple and pepperoni, but the chicken and spinach has been really hitting home lately.
Yeah, it seems.
So, Zweihaard.
Yeah.
You have survived the Cyclops. I mean, it literally overran you and crushed you into the ground, but you made it out the other side alive.
Did he, however? So I think we're going to probably sit tight and catch our breath, but I will remind you that he is bleeding. I don't know if he will be smart enough to know that he needs to stop and patch himself up.
He would be a very dumb creature if he couldn't figure that out.
Sure. So he'll probably need to make int checks or something to stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
And, And I think... I'll catch my breath and then follow the trail of blood in the dark.
All right. You can easily follow the giant's tracks, even in the dark.
Yeah, I'm much, much slower than him, so I don't think I'll ever catch him, but I'll follow it a little ways to see if maybe I did get lucky and he just ran until he bled out and died in a bush somewhere.
That's definitely not the situation. He does move at 4 times your movement rate, so it takes you a while to find the spot where he stopped and rested to deal with his wounds. There's a bigger puddle of blood, an actual puddle instead of just some drops here and there, and very disturbed ground and ripped up grasses. And then you can follow the tracks back to the north end of your valley.
I think I stopped there. So this is clearly where he ran, and then he stopped to patch himself up here.
Yep.
And lived.
Yep.
Okay. I got 3 HP. I ain't chasing down the Cyclops as much as I'd like to put an end to this problem. So I'll head back to my forge and go, damn it, when I see all the boulders that are piled up there that I'm now too winded to move. So I'll sit down and rest.
All right. You find a spot between the boulders to take your nap. And we can go to the next day.
Yeah.
Oh boy. You wake up. It is daylight.
Yeah. So I need to find some good berries or some radishes. I will mem maybe 2 strength of stone so I can get these boulders moved. And burn at least 1 moving them. So I wake up and I step out into the sunrise and go, oh, too bright, and go back downstairs and thank my lucky stars that I was born a dwarf and I can sleep safe underground. I go through my prayers to Saor, the great creator, for crafting all this, especially the dwarves. First sparks off the anvil.
That's taken like right from. That's the lore of dwarves in Dragonlance, isn't it?
Was that what that is?
The sparks of Riorox's hammer created the dwarves?
Well, then insert whatever dwarf canon. First hatched from the egg, something.
Yeah.
First shells off the... I don't know.
I like the sparks off the hammer. Or maybe that's actually even Tolkien stuff. It sounds familiar. I don't know.
The best stories always are. And I spend whatever probably takes me 20 minutes, I think, to get
your spells.
30 minutes. Yeah. And then I will set about the morning task of clearing out my cave. I assume there's no use for these stones down in the forge, right? So I'll
absolutely not
roll them up probably step by step out the entrance.
But like it's also all muddy and dirty because you did get that one armload of like muddy sludge on your staircase.
Shovel the mud out first, and then.
But you don't even have a shovel, so you're like using a battle axe or something. It's just.
I think I can make the battle axe into a shovel.
You could.
I failed the battle axe so badly that it's a shovel.
Yeah. So you eventually, it probably takes you all day to clear the forge of all these debris. Maybe not all day, but a good half day to like cast Strength of Stone and roll these things up here and shovel out the dirt and clean up the mess and make yourself some breakfast and yada yada yada. And about a half a day later, your forge is in a workable state again. And you're at what, like 5 HP? 3 HP? Yeah.
I'll spend the rest of the day trying to locate some berries. I can't remember if there was a patch nearby, but I'll go wander around that afternoon, see what I can find, and then I guess see if there's any signs of Cyclops or anything. Maybe I'll head out that direction and look out up the valley to see if the Cyclops is coming back.
Yeah, there is a small bush of holly that has a few new berries that are just beginning to bud on it. This is a bush that you've already scraped before looking for stuff, but berries are just coming in now.
Can you eat holly? I guess it doesn't matter if you cast a good berry spell on them.
Correct. I don't think otherwise you can good berry them. Or you could eat them. I think holly berries are toxic.
Yeah. Maybe not to dwarves. So I'll cast my good berry on 6 of these berries.
If you Google holly berries, you just get halle berry, and it is problematic.
I think holly berries, aren't they some good symbol, right? Santa Claus, maybe? What are they? There's something about fire.
Holly can contain caffeic acid. What the fuck is that? And a bunch of other things. They cause vomiting and diarrhea, and are especially dangerous in cases involving accidental consumption by children attracted to bright red berries. Ingestion of over 20 berries may be fatal to children. So you probably would be fine eating some holly berries if you don't mind being in the bathroom and having to drink a lot of water for a day.
Yerba mate is holly, in the holly genus.
Oh.
Make a tea from the leaves.
Holly leaves, if eaten, may cause diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, and stomach and intestinal problems. Yeah.
Nice. Good thing I'm a dwarf.
Yep.
With the blessed grub skill. Yeah, there's all sorts of like Germanic folklore-y stuff.
Yeah, and
druids and Santa Claus, and it seems appropriate for a good berry. Perfect.
I think holly berries, holly leaves are the crown of thorns worn by Jesus. Right?
Yeah, and I think maybe this gives me some inspiration for the masterwork, right? This item that I'm supposed to be bringing back to my people or something, right? If I'm to inherit the throne, what does a king need? Like or at least a prince, right? So I think we'll have this inspiration for a helm, but probably more like a circlet. Right. And because mechanically the armor system almost doesn't matter, I think I can shave off some weight on this thing, get some better visibility, some more space around the ears, still have a protective helm, but no need to be carrying, or no need to be trucking around in this this helm, this big. Oh, but it's such nice quality. Quality 27 bronze full helm, but that's 4 pounds of bronze plugging up me ears and me eyes. Now it'd be much better to have a crown of thorns, dwarf Jesus.
So
we'll work on it. So I got 6 good berries. I'll probably eat a few of them now. Get the healing rolling. Maybe I'll eat 3 now. Get myself to 6 HP. Add a couple of hollyberry. How many could I collect off of this bush? Or is
there are 4 berries that are just starting to bud now. There will probably be more later.
I feel like to nerf the spell, you're making these berries unrealistically sparse or whatever. Like what you find, like if you actually find a berry tree, right? It's often just, well, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm saying that this is a bush that you have picked over before already.
Oh, I picked like 3 good berries this whole campaign.
Is that it? Is that all you've picked?
There were a bunch of turnips that you let me.
Did we? We good berry? Why were we good berrying bulbs? Oh, because it was just more dwarf
lore. Because dwarf lore.
Because of dwarf lore. Yeah, sure. Fine. You get a whole bush. Have as many as you want.
I'm not saying that. That's totally fine. I mean, there could be some other criterion, right, that makes the berry. Like you've got to. Yeah, it's got to. Anyways. Yeah. I was just laughing at this holly bush with 9 berries on it.
I was trying to say it's coming into season and beginning to bloom and giving you a source of berries that you couldn't exhaust immediately because they are starting to come into season. So there's some now, but if you come back in a week, there's going to be more, and if you come back in a week, there's going to be more. It was the long game that I was setting you up for, rather than the there's a bunch of berries and you pick them all and they're gone forever. Then it's trying to give you a renewable resource.
Yeah, I was going to ask if I can transplant this bush to in front of the forge, or if that would kill it. Do I have any?
You're not a farmer. You're a forger, but you can go ahead and try. Give me an unproficient agriculture proficiency check, which is int, I think. So
is it int or whiz?
Probably int. Yeah,
6 either way. Boom.
You will transplant it. Yep.
So definitely. I dig it up and I move it back to the forge. It'll probably be some weeks until it's healthy enough to. Maybe even longer before it's blooming again, but eventually we'll have good berries growing next to the good radish, good turnip batch.
Good turnips,
which I may have eaten or may have been trashed. I don't have those written on my character sheet anymore.
I do believe you picked the rest of the turnips.
Yeah, that might have been. I may have resorted to desperate measures or something. 3 good berries. And tomorrow I'll get back to forging. And let's pick some spells. Let's finish my axe so I don't get caught unawares again. Would it be more useful to heat metal or to cool metal in the forging process?
Heat.
I mean, you could also think of cool quenching protocols you could do to like bring it. Yeah.
Sure. I mean,
treat it.
You have a source of heat and cooling already available. So
the reverse chill metal counters a heat metal. But it does.
I don't think you need magic to do what you want. So if you want to use spells to hurry this along, that's fine. Either one will work.
I'm just thinking. Narratively, it'd be in proximity to a blazing fire. God, underwater spell does no damage, but the ice immediately forms, exerting an upward buoyancy. It's like you don't need to worry about any damage, but you need to calculate the buoyant force due to all this ice that you just created. Oh, 2E. Sorry, I'm just picking my spells.
That's...
Oh, dude, we totally forgot about my fire trap.
Did you fire trap something?
Yeah, the door was fire trapped, and my halberd is frisky. We can. I mean, I think I overpowered the friskiness of the halberd.
Yeah, the friskiness is gone. Yeah.
So I'll recast that.
Okay.
Of course. Frisky chest. But we totally did. I mean, I guess the door was open and I was waiting in there.
Yeah.
So I think that means the fire trap is unexpended, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So today I'll memorize Frisky Chest and make my hellish halberd frisky once more.
Once more. You can hold it without it being frisky, right?
It says that, like, it says any creature of normal strength, right? As long as you're healthy, you can overpower the friskiness, and it dies down in a couple rounds. So maybe the handle was vibrating in my hands or something while I resisted it, and then eventually it just expires.
Right.
Once it starts vibrating, we can, when I get into combat with it again, we can explore.
Sure.
Oh, wait, this is not... Oh, this is all the spells. That's why I'm like, oh, what sphere is Draw Upon Holy Might?
I don't know.
Why doesn't Sayor have it? That would be super useful.
Draw Upon Holy Might. What
book
is it from?
Tome of Magic, page 58.
Tome of Magic, page 58. Draw Upon Holy Might is in the Summoning Sphere.
Why is that not available to me? Isn't that summoning / creation?
Let's see. Summoning. No, it got... Yeah, Draw Upon Holy Might. Summoning, not creation. That is a different...
Oh, so summoning and creation are different?
They are different, yeah.
And I do not have summoning, I have creation?
I think so. It's also possible that the spell was mistagged, but let me double check the spheres that you have access to.
Because that's super generic. That's just the buff a stat for basically for a few minutes to basically do a skill check or something like that. It seems like that would be super handy for crafting. But
let's see. You do not have summoning. No.
Okay.
Oh god, this sphere of influence by God is old. It doesn't have any of the updated names that we gave the gods. Problematic. Oh, it does have the new ones. Okay. Right? Yeah, okay, I did update it. Lovely. Cool. So, now what?
So I refrisk and I forge. Right? This is the first day. I guess I'm not resting but I need to. I'll go ahead and make my battle axe.
Okay, so you are going to... I don't think we did this process the last time. When you are crafting your battle axe, there are 4 things that we can craft for: hardness, flexibility, balance, and sharpness. Hardness and flexibility are rolled at the same time during the initial creation of the weapon. Both rolls must be taken together. Multiple attempts can be interpreted as a master craftsman working slowly on one attempt, or as someone making repeated attempts. So your hardness will change the die sizes larger on critical hits, and the flexibility will give you bonus to saving throws against breaking. So give me 2 checks, 1 for hardness and 1 for flexibility, and we'll take them in tandem.
All right. I think hardness sounds like a weird one, but sure. Why does hardness give a larger damage die on crits? Like, yeah.
I mean, it's not just harder or softer. It's the idea of like where you want the hardness and the softness, how well you want the blade to be, because sometimes you want a really hard edge, but then a soft backside so that the blade isn't brittle, but you can still cut easily. So
you're just correct enough to be dangerous.
Yep.
Let's roll these checks. My armor, my weaponsmithing is a 9. So I fail and I pass.
Yeah. So you get like it's a decent blade. It's maybe a little bit too.
I fail the check. I don't understand the system, I guess. Okay. So the first one I'm rolling. So so
you've got like
it's
shitty
hard, but so I scrap it and try again. I don't understand.
So hardness of. We can when you do multiple rolls, there are a lot of ways to interpret it. Either this one's not quite done and you're going to keep working on it and improving it, which would be a continuation, like you'd make another roll, or we could interpret it as this attempt was just terrible and you have to start from scratch, because we can only simulate so closely. So the idea is that the blade is not to your satisfaction as of yet. And so the next day you can make another set of
weapons. You're saying there's 4 checks that need to be passed, correct?
Right. You have hardness and flexibility, which you do when you first create the weapon, and you can go as many times as you want. And then after you've got your base blade made, which is determined by the hardness and the flexibility of the weapon,
and then you can sharpen it.
Then you can work on the balance, which you can just keep doing over and over again until you get it exactly where you want, unless you roll a 1, in which case you break the weapon. And then you can work on sharpening it as well. So the hardness and flexibilities are the base for the weapon that is then improved by balance and sharpness. Does that make sense?
It still seems like it's... Okay, so it seems like you just keep rolling until...
Well, yeah, we're trying to create an interesting crafting system with multiple bonuses for weapons that give them varying qualities, right? So at some point, we just have to make a bunch of rolls.
It still doesn't feel like an interesting branching craft system. It still seems like you just like keep increasing, it's like a scale, right? So it's not like you're... Yeah, anyways.
I don't think I follow what you mean.
I don't know. Well, let's just keep playing.
Okay.
So I'll just keep rolling d20s, I guess,
so give me
until
another
the weapon works.
Give me another pair of rolls.
So you make the first 2 rolls and you have to keep the pair?
Right. You keep them together as a pair.
Okay. How many times can I melt down this blade?
Infinite, right?
Yeah, I mean in a day. I was going to say.
I was going to say 1 attempt per day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just for convenient of running the game.
Okay. All right. So then, and it takes a whole day. Okay.
I mean, one could argue that it doesn't take a whole day, but if you're a master craftsman,
this means I don't heal when I'm crafting. Is what we've been running, right?
Right.
And one attempt. Okay. All right. Sure. So I guess the next day.
Mm-hmm.
We're attempting the axe again. Another 11, so it's same deal.
Yeah, so maybe you're trying to attempt this, but you're wounded and beaten by this Cyclops, and the weakened Zawihard is trying to pound out this hammer or this axe blade against all odds.
We're practicing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then I guess we'll go into day 3.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
there's some decent numbers.
There you go.
28. That's not the hardness, though. It's not. I'll have to try hard again.
Yeah. So you've gotten a workable blade. It won't have.
So what are you're saying the first one you called
hardness, and the second one was flexibility.
Oh, so it is hard.
Yeah.
So it's perfect.
Yeah. So you've got good hardness and you've got good flexibility.
So I finally worked out all the, I don't know, imperfections or whatever in the steel.
Mm-hmm.
We already did like the resmelting, and then I used the purify ore spell to turn, to get a good steel rather than just pig iron that they had hammered out before.
Right.
So 28 hardness, 21 on the flexibility. That's fine. And then is it a whole next day that you do the rest of the rolls?
Right. So then balance and sharpness come next. So with balance, you can just roll it forever. A natural 1 means you've done something and like botched the entire blade. Like maybe you were trying to chisel something out and you fucked it up.
And what do you have like a table of what these numbers do?
I do. Balance changes what you need to, how much you need to clear in order to crit. And sharpness will give you a bonus to damage for a set number of attacks until the weapon's been dulled and it needs to be resharpened.
So should I just record these as a string of numbers? So like a 28, 21, and then whatever I start rolling? Okay,
yes.
So let's roll. So I'll balance the blade. A 19, does that mean it's unbalanced and unfit for combat?
Yeah, that's just like a slightly awkward blade. You know,
so that doesn't mean the same thing, right?
You would need to roll. You would need to clear its AC by 11 to crit with a 19.
So you're saying this would a low balance gives it penalties to hit, a high balance gives bonuses to hit?
Low balance gives it penalties to crit. Like the number you need to clear by to crit is what balance is affecting. Let me just try and paste you my table. Maybe this will make more sense to you.
Is there a reason you don't work in like a Google Doc or something like that?
Yeah, I moved everything over to Scrivener because it's easier to keep all my notes together. But it is more frustrating to try and share.
That's fine. I mean, if you're it's probably better practice to keep your stuff local and then just like share PDFs. That way people can't fudge with your formatting or something. Although copying and pasting is
ruining America.
Wait, what?
Sorry.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, the format's a little fucked up.
Okay. So if I rolled I'm bummed I can't. That buff spell is not allowed because it would have been nice to break that 30. So my 28 would give it.
Would actually not be very useful. Yeah.
Oh no, it's a plus. Oh,
no. 30 is where the hardness gets good. Unfortunately.
How do you expect to get? So you mean you'd need to have high int and spend all your proficiency slots on this, or find other? I guess.
Yeah. The idea is to give master craftsmen something to do, so that weapons aren't just like dumb. You know.
Yeah. All right. So and then a balance. Oh, it needs to be a 20. What if it's less than a 21? Then it's penalties to hit.
Yeah.
So right now it's like a -1.
No, 11. You need to clear by 11 to
is balancing and sharpening blades considered strenuous activity?
No.
Seems like I could do this while resting.
That's fine.
All right. And how many times can I attempt to rebalance in a day?
Let's just say 1 attempt per day, right? Same thing, just for ease of things. Unless you want to make an argument for multiple attempts to balance a day, which it could be made. It's kind of arbitrary at this point, you know.
Yeah. All right. So I get a passable balance on my second attempt. I don't know if that's later that day or the following. And then I will sharpen the blade with a critical fail. Does a fail sharpness mean you have to restart? Or is that
sharpness can be rolled for at any time in a bladed weapon's life, although it does need access to a proper forge. A skill check is made to determine the quality of the sharpness, which bestows a +1 damage to the first X attacks. Metal armors negate the damage. The blade can be polished by spending 4 hours working with it on a whetstone. No, so 1 is fine. You've maybe made it too narrow, and now you're having to cut into the blade a little bit.
I started with a nice dull blade for practice, and I'll sharpen it for real next time.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and give me another.
It's just the balance that you can ruin the blade with, and then you can always resharpen.
Yeah.
I heard a biddly-doop, but I don't know where it's from.
Discord.
Oh.
I'm just sending you text on the rules.
Yeah. All right.
Give me another sharpness check then.
Yeah.
It's still a piece of crap. Yep.
If it's only versus non-metal armor, it almost seems like it's not. Well, but if you get less than a 21, it would be penalties to damage or something like that.
Yeah, I think we don't really deal with dulled blades too much, so maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
So I work on sharpening this for 3 days, or if we're doing 2 a day, a day and a half.
Yeah, I think 2 a day makes more sense.
Finally getting a blade that I'm happy with. So a 27. Yeah.
So the first 4 attacks with this axe do +1 damage. After that, it just is a normal axe until you can go and just like polish it up or hone it by spending a few hours with it on a whetstone or a honing blade or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So. Does the balance need to be recorded?
It should be recorded. Yeah, you could just say
the balance
28, 21, whatever.
I think it was also 21.
Yeah, 28, 21, 21, 27.
Yeah, except the 27's just 4 attacks. So basically I've got a standard steel battle axe.
That does +1 to damage.
That does +1 to damage for the first 4 attacks.
Right.
The 4 attacks is really the only thing that seems to me like it needs to be remembered, but
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's cool. It's steel, right? So it's always going to get +1 versus lesser metals,
right?
So that system's, we're going with that as well.
Yeah, I mean it'll be the damage reduction will go down by 1 since we're not doing armor as AC. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you've got this axe.
Yeah, I got a nice steel battle axe.
Mm-hmm.
We said I gain HP on those last days where I was just doing the sharpening stuff.
And the balancing.
And I'll probably need to eat at least 1 more good berry just so I don't starve.
Yep.
So we're down to 2 good berries. And I will gain 3 more HP. I need to get more food. And then I think I want to set to work on a helm. I think I'm going to use the mithril, but I only have a ½ pound of mithril. So it may just need to be mithril plated or like mithril pieces and bronze pieces. What do I have as working materials? Do I really have to melt down my helm? I think I'm going to try and modify my bronze helm and just add mithril to it. So I guess I want to work with the mithril a little bit and see how it works. So that'll be next. Are we continuing to flip forward through days?
Sure. Yeah.
I need food. So we're going berry picking again. I assume the bush out front is going to take a while to get established. Maybe turnip gathering or halberd fishing again. I don't know. So we'll wander around the vicinity. Really should have grabbed a survival proficiency. Although I'm a dwarf lord. I was not expecting to be shipped off to the hills for this life of adventuring. So what do you want me to roll? Another more survivals to gather food or animals?
Yeah. Are you just looking for food or berries? Just any sort of food?
Sustenance.
Yeah.
Edible
Go
fungus.
ahead and give me another survival check.
I can memorize my purify food and drink and just look and even inedible
anything
fungus.
That could be
21.
Yeah. You come across a group of 4 vultures who are standing over the corpse of what looks to be what do you call them? Not a mountain lion, smaller than a mountain lion.
Like a lynx?
No, like a coyote. There we go.
Oh, that's not a cat.
It's definitely not a cat, but I was thinking mountainous creatures that, whatever.
A corpse of a coyote?
Yep.
That is a successful survival check?
Yep.
All right. I sun scorch one of the vultures.
I think it just straight up dies.
Gets a saving throw.
It fails a saving throw. Vulture has at most D8 HP, but probably closer to D6 HP.
No, a bird probably should be half hit. They have frail, lightweight bones.
Yeah, do at least 3 damage to it and it's dead.
I think that's it's D6 plus 1 per caster level. Undead and monsters vulnerable to bright light.
Okay, so D6 plus 4.
D6 plus... And we should level me up, right?
We should. We should definitely level you up right now. But roll your damage. Scorch your bird.
I think it's 6 damage.
Yeah, it is actually a cooked bird now. Still feathered, but cooked all the way through.
You thought I was going to eat that coyote, but I'm going to eat the vulture. I think I will still purify both I'll drag the roast vulture and the coyote back to my cave, bless them in the forge, and eat this carrion.
Okay.
Yum. Apparently Neal hadn't played The Witcher, but I was saying during one of the breaks how all this survival kind of reminded me of that game where you're like in the early levels where you're like you can heal from eating anything. So like if you can't afford to buy like fresh water or whatever, and you'll just like this dog dropped dog tallow. I guess I'll eat that.
Oh joy.
Rat corpses. Like murdering people's geese so you can eat their eggs.
All right.
Adventuring shit.
So you've got yourself a vulture. A delicious vulture.
And don't forget the coyote.
And a coyote.
The rancid coyote corpse.
Yes.
That ought to feed me for a week or so, so I can get to my masterwork. So, mithril. I believe I figured out the fire situation, right? There was a coal mine, and I dragged in coal. I don't know if... I assume I have enough. I can also do a log of ever-burning.
I believe when you last got coal, you had it just for the one thing that you wanted to do. So you've probably burned through the rest of the coal
for another trip to the coal mine.
Yeah.
And take a load there. Let's look at spell lists. I did burn that good berry, so I'll memorize a lighten load to reduce the weight of the coal by half and lug it back to this cave. I believe that coal mine was infected with with those slimes, wasn't it?
Yeah. What are you gonna do about that?
Well, do I see them when I approach?
No, let's change the music. As you get back to that same coal mine, let's also bring up the map. It's definitely not the right map right now. Here we go. All right, so you head back over the coal mine. I believe it's like most of the day for you to get there. Much better. You approach this ore vein within the mine, and initially, at least, there's no sign of the gray ooze that inhabits this area.
Cool. So I don't know if I was able to bring like a sack from the forge and whatever tools I think I would need to pound some coal out of the walls. Or if all the metal tools in this place had been removed.
Yeah.
So I think I'll just hope I don't encounter an ooze in there. If I see it, I'll turn tail and run. But for now, I will approach and keep on the lookout. You have should I roll a perception check, or?
Please do.
I think my perception is if it's 11, that's just barely a pass. Yes, it is 11.
All right. So you enter the mine and find a nice section where you can mine out your coal. And you keep an eye out for oozes slithering along the ceilings or floors or walls.
Glad that you mentioned ceiling, because if you didn't, I would. Those things will slip through any crack.
Sketchy little bastards. But you don't see one by the time you've got a full bag of coal.
Cool. I will lighten my load and huff it back to the forge.
Sure. It'll take another day to get back. You are basically Santa Claus delivering coal to all the bad boys and girls in your valley.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm growing this holly bush.
Mm-hmm. That's why you got the beard and the belly. Bag of coal. You're basically Santa. I mean, and what does Santa do up at the North Pole? He crafts toys. Maybe Santa's Sayor. That could be an interesting lore bit to add. Anyway, you make it back to your area and the next day, and you can craft away. No sign of Cyclops anywhere.
He'll think twice before messing with me.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think is going on with all those Cyclops over there? Because you know that there's more.
Oh, this is a tale as old as time, right? It's even written into the player's handbook, the combat bonuses I receive versus giants. Right?
Yeah.
Dwarves and giants have been battling out on this hill for millennia. And it usually ends like this. Cyclops comes over, pokes his head in a dwarf hole, gets his eyeball stabbed out, and tells all his friends not to mess with dwarves anymore, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the dwarves hide back in their holes, and the Cyclops farm or sheep on the surface, and all's well. Until it isn't again.
So, here you are. What are you going to forge?
We're gonna make a circlet out of the mithril, like make that helm that I was describing. But I do want to play with the mithril a little bit, so I just want to confirm that it can't be alloyed with anything.
Right, mithril is mithril.
Okay,
so it's not alloy.
But can it plate other? Can it be used to plate other metals?
Yes, it can.
Like, is this like a mithril plated? So let's see. Are there metal scraps around the forge, or do I have to supply my own equipment here?
What sort of metal scraps?
I don't know. So all of my equipment went up in the elemental fire. Except for like basically what I'm wearing, my currently equipped gear. So that was all of my equipment. So I don't know if I have any crafting materials. I'm asking if there are any already lying around the forge.
I think there are a few things. I think you've got some hammers and some tongs lying around here. The elemental fire was in the other person's forge, right? So it didn't blow up all of your gear.
Yeah, it did because it was on Goat, and then the place was looted.
Right, but I don't think you carry your crafting gear on Goat.
I was talking I'm talking about all my spare weapons and things.
Right.
Spare weapons and arms.
So you've got your crafting tools here.
Okay. Actually, do I have wealth? Got 100 silver. How many pounds? That's like 2 pounds. That's enough to start. Like, I got couple pounds of silver. 29 mithril. So I think that's actually. So I'm like got the crucible going over probably coals of ever burning. And I'll be like trying to mix, I think, molten silver and molten mithril. And it's like not. You want to add some cool narrative as to what happens when you try to mix them? Are there like two miscible liquids swirling around in this thing?
Yeah, they're just kind of these different swirls, and once you stop stirring them, the mithril rises to the surface and the silver sinks below, and you can kind of like play with it back and forth, and the mithril moves around a lot like Quicksilver. I don't know if any of our viewers are old enough to remember the days when you had mercury thermometers and they would break. And then you'd like play with the mercury and roll it around on the tables and stuff.
Yeah, and that's why Neal is the way he is today.
Yeah, that's why I had to taste it, see what it was like. But yeah, that's what it's like. It's just this swirling, rolling metals.
Cool. So then I'll like re-separate them. And melt down the silver and like try to cast something out of silver and coat it with mithril.
Which can be done. What would you like to cast out of silver and coat in mithril?
I don't think I want to keep it. But I guess for... I I'm trying to think. My baseline would probably be like blocks, like ingots, like a right. Mm-hmm. I don't know what molds I even have handy, but that's probably a simple one to put together. And like thinking like a hammer, like the head of a hammer would probably be the default. So maybe like with a donut hole in the middle. So I may already have a mold that's like that. I already built the hammer, so there may be like old mold from that lying around. So I'd like cast a silver hammerhead and coat it in mithril. But I'll probably just melt it down and re-separate. I'm just like practicing with these metals and seeing what they can do. Some mithril and silver inlay might also be cool, especially since they like can't mix. I wonder if there's cool ways to like work them together. Maybe not, or like intertwined. Or mithril filigree. I don't know if this is Zweihardt style though.
Yeah, I don't know about mixing and intertwining them. That sounds like you're gonna have like a soft and a hard thing. Like that might be a little weird. Maybe not. Yeah. I don't know.
What about? So I don't actually have any copper coins to melt and play with for bronze, and I don't think I want to. Well, I've got my bronze helm. Oh, I remember what I was gonna do. I think I want to try like modifying the bronze helm.
To do? Like, you wanted to make like
cutting pieces out of it to like make it lighter, so like scooping out the ears and making the eye bigger, and then adding like a mithril plating in strategic locations, probably in a vaguely crown, like with a circlet of mithril around the bronze helm, and then maybe like little like mithril defensive turrets or whatever as per a crown. Maybe I fashion them to look like holly leaves as per my stroke of inspiration. So that's what I'll try to. I'll try to make little mithril holly leaves that I'll fasten around the circlet.
Okay. So why don't you tell me what quality of a helm you would need? Like, what quality roll would you need to make it to do this? And then we'll just see how long it takes you by how many rolls it takes you to get to there. So that sounds to me like a quality 30 at least. It's
I don't see what quality would be part of it. I feel like I was more thinking it would have a typical floor of 21, and then like the value increases with the skill on the check. I mean,
so what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to give you, I'm trying to figure out how long this takes by giving you a roll to make, and then just see how many times it takes you to make that roll.
So first off, I cannot roll a 30. If it's an armor smithing, my skill is 10, so I would have to roll a 20.
Okay. So
if it's black, but if we're just calling it smithing, mithril, silver smithing, no, mithril smithing.
I mean,
smithing.
Silver smithing is.
That's strength based.
It would be a silver smith,
So I could use strength of stone and buff my skill that way.
And then it would be a 16.
And I assume that would be for the purely ornamental stuff.
Right.
So I think I should have to make an armor smithing check to modify the helm. Although I've already,
so an armor smithing check of 21 or better to get the helm to be functional, and then a smithing check of 30 to decorate it. And the smithing check you can just do until you get it, and then we'll see how long it takes you to make this thing, which is pretty much the only. When it comes to crafting things, if you're capable of doing it, the rolls are really just here to determine how long it takes you to make it.
So I already have a quality 27 helm. Is this just a pass to see if I can like lighten it strategically?
Yeah, without.
And I can't. Maybe I botch it and I have to
You're like cutting something out and you realize that you cut the hole too big and. Yeah, so you have to reforge the helm.
I melt it down and I start from scratch, I think. And then I redesign it in a more sensible way with the, a bronze like shell that's pretty just from the body of it. And then, so let's do the armor smithing check again. So that's 1 day. There's 2 failed days, 3 failed days, and I'm not gaining HP on these days.
Yeah.
4th day is a pass. It's going to be less structurally sound than previously, although these numbers don't actually mean anything that we know of yet.
Not yet. But it's a solid helm. And now you want the decoration for it, right?
Yeah. So I started with 4 pound. How many coins to the pound? How many?
50.
It depends. So 50.
All coins are 50 to the pound.
I'm wondering, so if I have 4 pounds of bronze from the helmet, how much should I record that in copper? I guess we'll figure out how much all this takes later.
Sure.
It started with 4 pounds of bronze. which would be 200 copper, right?
Right.
And then we'll figure out how much this whole thing takes. And so now I'm blacksmithing.
Until you
I
get
will call upon.
30.
Yeah, I will call upon Sayor for inspiration. Consult my holly bush and study it. And for some reason, this intricate work is strength, because this is now not blacksmithing instead of armor smithing. And
yeah, it's more about just like the endurance of hitting things over and over and over again. You know, being able to keep up the good work.
For a whole 6 minutes of inspiration, but it's those 6 minutes that really count. That's why we use that strength for the check.
It's the critical 6 minutes.
For the 29, which is not quite enough.
It's close, but you know the berries are a little oblong. They look a little bit like eggplants. People would probably just laugh at it.
I don't think there weren't supposed to be berries. That's the problem.
No, there weren't even supposed to be berries.
It was just a crown of the holly leaves.
You fucked it up and put berries by accident.
Damn it.
You were so hungry, that's all you could think of. Was the good berries, and you just crafted some good berries. Okay.
All right, I am going to eat another good berry for inspiration.
Do it again, then.
Down to 1. 35.
Ooh, there we go. That was a good call.
So it is a beautiful piece of art and a passable helm.
And it takes you 6 days to make.
Yeah. And I think now, are my ears totally exposed? Is that the best design I would come up with? Like, I need to look at like pictures of helms or something.
I don't think any helms have ears exposed.
Yeah, you always cover the ears, but at least I think it's no longer got a visor. It's probably just got a little nose bridge. I don't know if it would look stupid to have a little holly leaf hanging over the nose.
I guess
if it doesn't.
Some of the helms that just stop at your eye line don't cover your heads, like the old Viking stuff.
I probably got an ear hole drilled in that is covered with a mithril leaf. Like it's not exposed, but like you can still get like some sound reflected in there.
Mm-hmm. Actually, the Greek helmets some of them have holes where the ears would be. Some of them have like weird pointy things, and some of them have weird roundy things, and some of the Roman ones have roundy things.
Space on top for like a mohawky braid thing like Roman, nice. But I need to get some giant's hair, a giant's braid or something. I do have giant's hair, but it's spell component giant's hair. I don't think it's quite enough to make what I'm imagining. But if I ever murder one of these cyclopses, it's going on my head.
Right. So you can make one of these things. Let me paste it to you in Disco. With like, it's got the leaves on it, and you got the holes for the ears, and you've got room for a spiky thing of hair. It's workable.
Is that in Zoom or in Disco?
PM in Disco.
So many beeps, so many chat windows. Oh,
right?
Yeah. Except that now there's not exactly. Oh, that's actually pretty much exactly it. Mm-hmm. Without the horse, and with those would be holly leaves.
Right. But it's
and for now there's I think probably just a crest. I'll put in I don't have the giant's braid to run along it yet, but it still looks cool with it with the plume unplumaged.
So 6 days later, you've made this fantastic helm. The quality of the actual helm is definitely workable. The decoration on it is top notch. And why don't we do some experience and level you up?
Oh yeah,
because you did defeat a Cyclops.
Indeed.
And what other things do you need experience for?
We didn't get any last session. Right. What did we do last session? It was the elemental shit. Right?
Oh, right.
I didn't get any experience for that, right?
I don't think so.
It was all the orcs. It was the orc forge, right?
Right.
So I think I killed like 12 orcs, right? Mm-hmm. So I heard it's turning into quite the badass. What should we call that helm that I just made? A mithril...
It's a bronze helm with mithril adornment, yeah?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
I was originally describing it as calling it a circlet, but I think that helm that you showed is actually pretty perfect.
Yeah.
You didn't send that to chat?
I did. I showed it on stream.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
What is it? Ancient Greek.
Okay, so I'll
just call it.
one Cyclops. We've got 12 orcs. Oh, we have a goblin. We have this fantastic helm that you've just made, which is definitely worth at least 1,000 experience.
Does that also mean it's worth 1,000 gold? Not that I would try to sell it, but I'm curious what the I get. Do dwarves think in such terms? Do they look at a beautiful creation and put a GP value on it, like a
probably like a rogue might? Some dwarves might. Depends on whether you're more of a merchant or more of a craftsman. I think a lot of craftsmen view each and every one of their works as priceless. While the merchant dwarves like, fuck no, they've got a price for that one. I'll give you this. So is Zweihaard more of the like artistic craftsman or the like? Oh, how much can I get for this piece of metal?
He's like a dwarven noble. What was he, like a fifth son or something like that? Third son. Mm-hmm. Right. So he's grown up with a mithril spoon in his mouth his whole life. Now I don't think he has a concept of it. But he was the pretentious dwarf that went off to Dwarf Academy to learn to be a true artisan.
Right. So between the last session and this one, Cyclops give a lot. You should be taking home about 6K.
So I'll divide that by 2 for each class, bringing me to 8,725, which I think levels both my classes.
Damn.
To 4.
So level 4 fighter, level 4 cleric.
Right. Level 4 cleric would have been at 6K. Level 4 fighter is at 8K.
Yep.
4. So let's roll for the double HP.
D8 plus D10 divided by 2 plus 1?
Yeah, D8 plus D10 divided by 2. Where's the plus 1 go? Let's see if it figures this out. Not bad at all.
No, that's quite good, actually.
Yeah, so that's 8 points on top of my 19 will bring me to 27.
Fantastic.
I was at 10 out of 19, so I'll take that to a 14 out of 27.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
Gaining. And I think I get one more second level spell slot.
Yep. I don't think you get another first one.
Nah,
I think you just get the second.
You might be right. I get another +1 to hit with everything.
Yep. So next fighter level is 16,000.
Cleric, I think, is 12.
Next cleric is 13. Oh, you should have 3 first and 2 second, plus wisdom modifiers.
Say again? 3
first and 2 second spells.
Yeah, that's what. Plus wisdom. So I do have a. Oh no, I don't have any. Oh, I do have 1 bonus first level. So I do get another first level.
Yeah. So you should have 4.
So I have
and
4
2.
first and 2 second.
Yep.
Are there new saves?
Priests get new saves at level 4. Yeah.
Cool.
Everything improves by 1.
All right. So I'm.
Yeah, and it's better than all the fighter saves still. No experience for the bird he sun scorched. Sorry.
And how much copper and mithril does the helm require, and how much does it weigh?
Let's see. I think the helm is probably 3 pounds. No, you've got that ridge thing on top, right, to hold the.
So the bronze helm I had before weighed 4 pounds by the book.
Right. So I think you've removed some things and then added it to the top to hold giant hair when you're done.
But a lot of it's mithril, which is lighter.
Okay.
Than bronze, right?
So what part of the helm is mithril? Is it just the decorations, or is it also the structure?
Just the deck. I think just the decoration. So I think it's like a bronze. The base is a bronze helm, slightly lighter, maybe with some gaps here and there, and then the mithril is mostly decorative overlay. But it's also mithril's strong as well.
It's
as
very strong. Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of the leaves are like the little leaf covers on the ear holes.
Right.
Are protective, and so I think it's both. Maybe so it converted to 200 copper coins by weight. Mm-hmm. Let's replace some of those with mithril and cut out weight accordingly. I only have 29 mithril pieces. Should I just get rid of all those?
Each mithril piece is kind of big. 29 mithril coins is at least half a pound of mithril. It's a little more than half a pound. I think so it's probably not
all coins that they're sized to weight. So a mithril coin is big.
Mithril coin is big. A gold coin is quite small, actually. Yeah, and that's how if you dig around in your pockets, you can pull out the correct change without looking at it based on coin size.
I like it.
So let's say it took 20 mithril coins to do this, and I kind of feel like the parts that you took out of the ears you just added to the top for the brace, which is probably leaves the base weight the same, and then it just like went up a little bit because of the decoration.
So should I keep it a 4-pound helm?
Yeah, let's just keep it at a 4-pound helm.
Even though it's okay, which would replace, which means I think that means it should take 160 copper. Oh no.
Yeah, it should take 180 copper and 20 mithril. Yeah.
Okay, so I've just replaced some of the copper with mithril, which should have lightened it actually, right? Oh no, but the mithril is okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah. All right, mithril bronze helm, which will weigh 4 pounds. Sweet. Oh, and I can store my good. I store my good berries on the helm.
In the crest.
So there's only helm. No. On the there's probably I made a little shelf. It's a quality 35, right? I made little shelves for my good berries.
Okay, so you can like attach a berry to the like mithril.
I've only got
leaves
one on there now.
Okay.
Right, but so there's no berries built into the helm, but I can store fresh good berries at the center of maybe some of the leaves. Now there's just like one second place, and maybe if I get crit in the face, it'll smash a good berry.
Or if you turn upside down, they fall out. But if you're just walking, it should be fine.
Too cool to pass up.
Nice, very nice. All right, so you've got helm, beautiful helm. Is that your final masterpiece work that you're going to take home?
I'm actually looking at this helm. I'm feeling probably good to head back to the dwarf. To where am I even from? It's been so long in these hills.
From back to Dwarftown.
But it was Blacksteel Keep, I guess.
Right. Blacksteel Keep.
Yeah, like I felt the need to alert them about the Cyclops ages ago, but I wanted to have something more to show for my time out here. Looking at this helm is a masterwork, so
well, it's
feeling ready to head to return.
Yeah, it's a little more than 7 days to get back home.
Yeah, so I think I will spend the rest, the day that I've considered the home complete, I'll spend the rest of the day packing up, looking over spells. Maybe maybe light and load is actually the way to go. 1 hour per level, so if I do it twice, I can, what is this? The material components are a feather and a slip of paper moistened by a soap bubble. Nope. I can use the vulture feather to lighten my load. I kind of like material components because they make you look for interesting symbolism in your games. But I cannot. It breaks my immersion to have to describe Zweihaard moistening a slip of paper with a soap bubble.
Feather and a slip of paper moistened by a soap bubble. So like what, you get like a big soap bubble and blow it into a piece of paper and then like stick a feather through it?
It makes spellcasting so goofy.
And yet in 20 years when people read our modified spells and our spell systems, they're going to say the exact same thing. What were they thinking?
All right, so I think the way I'm going to travel is to double up on the light and load.
Okay.
And that way I can move unencumbered. Wait, oh no, I don't have 16 strength. I'm down to 12. I'm not encumbered. Yes, I am.
Are you going to? What are you going to take with you, and what are you going to leave here? Like, are you going to leave all of the crafting supplies here, or are you taking them home with you?
I'm going to seal up I'm going to shut down the forge and close it. Oh, I'll also. I think I'm going to shut the chimney as well. So I'm going to make a little flap for the chimney that I can fire trap. And leave a fire trap on the chimney and a fire trap on the front door, and like shut the forge down, leave everything inside of it. What's the deal with the holy symbols? Do I feel they're like they were on the wall when I came in? I assume they're just still there. Like, do I feel like that's something I need to take?
No.
For fear, or does it seem fine to leave it? Like
it was here before
ransacked.
you showed up, right?
Were they etched into the walls, or were they actual?
No, they were symbols. You could take them off if you wanted to.
I already have one. So I think I'll just seal up the forge and call that good enough. Shut the door behind me. Curse whoever would deign to disturb this holy place. Let's figure out my spells. I don't have holy water yet, or still. Tangle. One more first level spell. Let's do the purify food and drink. And I will set out. Always on the lookout for carry on or or the like. So I think this will be the next morning or some morning later when I've had a chance to get through all of these chores of, shut down the forge, basically like lock it up as you would a cabin for the winter or whatever.
Right.
I'm done using it. Hopefully I can find it again, but maybe this is some holy place that I'm never going to be able to find my way back to, but I'll, memorize the location and set off for my long journey. I pack myself in a special way that they taught me at Dwarf Academy that I was sort of shrugging off this whole journey until now, but I finally remembered or maybe it was something I read about but never quite implemented. But there's probably some ritual to like get all your gear suited up so that it's 50% less heavy and lighten my load. With the magic of Seor.
Well, the load is light. How long does it last? 8 hours a day?
4 hours per level. So if I do both my spell slots on it, I can move unencumbered.
Say 4 hours per level? No, 1 hour per level. 4 hours per
1 hour
casting.
per level.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 hours.
Cool. So 2 of those, which you can do, and it'll take you 7 days to get back home. A little more. Let's see if there are any encounters along the way.
And I don't have enough food for the journey. I have one emergency good berry. Oh, were there any? There's no holly berries before I leave, are there?
It's been a week, so
like
there have been. In a week, the more berries have sprouted on your little berry bush. There are another 6 berries there.
Can I have done a good berry at some point, or otherwise I'll wait to do one? 5 out of the 6. All right, I'll leave one for Seor. or for whoever happens upon this forge next, and select the 5 suitable for good berries and make those. So that so let's give me the 6 total good berries. Gained 1 more HP, and I set off. So I'm still on the lookout for food. I can actually eat for 6 days with those berries. So I'll tick them off one by one. Are there any encounters? How many days do I get before I see sign of dwarfilization?
All right. So you get about to hear most of the way home. This is day 6. On and towards the evening of day 6. Ooh. Let me make some dice rolls.
Or would you like me to make dice rolls?
Why don't you make dice rolls?
So the usual d20 plus 6. Ooh, close. If there were any situational advantage. Unfortunately, I'm in these arid hills. Okay, so 3 days in, I find something.
3 days in, you will find... what is that? 3 days in, you spot a mountain lion on another hill nearby.
A live mountain lion?
A live mountain lion just creeping along. You could probably take it.
I entangle it and butcher it and eat it. I don't even think you want. I mean, we could fight it and you could give me experience, or I could just not be a threat.
How do you butcher it via entangle?
Well, I mean, I entangle it and then I close in and poke it to death
with your
with a halberd.
long spear, and it's just trapped in the cage, and you just stab it over and over again. Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could play it around, but I should have played it around. If you're trying to or I don't know.
I'm not trying to.
I could have role played that I didn't know that I would just insta kill a mountain lion, and we could have done it round by round, and I could have gotten.
I'll give it a saving throw, see if it gets out of the area.
That's a good point.
Rolls a natural 1. You must have catched it while it was rolling around on the ground on its back. Yeah, you can butcher the mountain lion.
Up a tree. Lions love to hide in trees.
Yeah.
So I think the tree or the bush that it was hiding in just. And
yeah,
I just walk up and
execute it. Yeah.
Never posed a threat.
Never posed a threat. Okay.
And I don't even think I get experience for those spells. That was not in my ethos. That was just for survival.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you usually gain HP when traveling, or is that only if you're under the care of a healer?
I think it's only if you're under the care of the healer.
Okay. Yeah. So I gained 2 HP from eating good berries this first day. The third day, I'll roast up some lion and probably munch on lion meat the whole way back.
Okay. Anyway, 6 days in, towards the evening, you're coming through a pass between hills, and you see staked up on spears a pair of hobgoblins. You recognize the black steel of your family as the heads of the spears. And it's the hobgoblin head with the body just dangling down from it as well. Clear signs of dwarven intervention.
It's good to be home. And I walk boldly past the black steel spears. Excellent. Which are in fact bronze. They just have they've perfected a high nickel bronze, and they finish it with a good charcoal scrub to turn it a nice silvery black color.
Right.
So very nice. It kind of so it does kind of appear to be iron, but alas, it does not confer the same combat bonuses.
Unfortunately. Well, the next day you can get it back to Blacksteel Keep in the late evening, huffing and puffing in. You can see the fires of industry burning within, and the little watchtower that comes out of the middle of the keep is there. There's a dwarf pacing along the edges, his back to a large fire, and you can make it home.
Yeah. I think I'm not huffing and puffing. I've got the strength of the gods rushing through my veins, and all this this lion blood. I'm despite the weight of the bronze, I'm coming in healthy. Although maybe a healthy dwarf is a huffing and puffing dwarf.
Yeah, I think dwarves just kind of huff and puff all the time, you know.
Yeah, we're high octane engines we got in our little legs.
Got to put a spoiler on your rear. So
sweet. So what does the front of the keep look like? It's been a while since we've been here, right? It's up a hill. Is there a village? Oh, there's a mine.
There's a mine. Yes.
The keep is up past one of our family mines, right? The most prominent of them.
Yes. We should go to a break.
Cool. Yeah, this is a good spot. So let's come back with a description of Blacksteel Keep and
we'll return the
homecoming.
All right. See you guys on the other side of a break. Bye-bye.